All right, so I finished with patients a little bit early today, which is cool because it gives me some time to do some revolution in motion, which always feels really good. It's kind of cloudy and dreary today, so I figure do some rev, maybe go for a run later, force myself to get outside even though it's a little chilly. Anyway, the point of this video is I want to talk about why we do revolution in motion barefoot, not necessarily from like a nerdy scientific perspective, but from like a nerdy logical perspective. So we do all the exercises barefoot, socks off included. And why we do that is we got a bunch of nerve endings in our feet. There's a ton of bones in our feet. There's a ton of muscles, not only at the bottom of our feet, but all the way up our legs here to control our feet and our ankles. And when we put ourselves in shoes, we kind of take away, not every shoe, but when we put ourselves in like these overly supportive shoes, think about your Yeezys. When you put yourself in these big cushy shoes, you take away your body's ability, your feet's ability to talk to your brain about where you are in space, about proper movement. When you've got this heel lift, it changes this fascia, and you've got different things cause different problems. And again, I'm avoiding the nerdy stuff. But the analogy that I like to show people is, this is really exaggerated. Here's an AirX pad, all right? So it's a squishy foam pad, and I have people stand on it. And I have them stand on it and close their eyes because I want to take away some of the proprioceptive feedback from their feet so that I can elicit and evoke problems with the vestibular system, somehow the sensory system, yada, yada, yada. But the point is, this cushion is a purposeful tool to evoke postural problems. This is also what people wish their shoes felt like. Do you get where I'm going with this? When we're walking around in overly cushioned shoes like this, we're messing up the feedback that our body would normally get walking around barefoot, which changes how we walk, which is going to change how our knees hit. It's going to change how hard we land on our heel. It's going to change all this stuff that then manifests itself as like, oh, you know, doc, my back really hurts, or my hips kind of hurt, or my knees kind of hurt, or my shoulder kind of hurts, and my ankles hurt, and I just hurt. And it's like, well, let me look at your feet. Like, let me look at your shoes. Let me look at how you walk. And oftentimes these are the same people that are like, yeah, my feet were hurting and I was running and I was doing whatever and I was wearing these shoes. So I switched to these even cushier shoes. And then I went to the other doctor and got orthotics for these really cushy shoes. And like, all I'm hearing is I was using a crutch. And so then I got a crutch for my crutch. And then I got a crutch for that crutch so that I could crutch this crutch, so that my feet could just get like weaker and weaker and weaker and more squished and restricted. So we do revolution in motion barefoot because there's this huge novel sensory input that comes in from the feet up to the brain and, you know, like helps us move. But it also brings us back into alignment. We spend a lot of time with the slant board and the pipes and Bosu balls and different things so that, sorry, a little stuffy, so that we can mobilize and restore function in the fascia of our feet and restore function through this lower leg so that it translates up into the hip, into the shoulder, into the spine, and you just generally feel better. And that's why the foot programs with Revimo are so powerful, because they're done barefoot on unstable surfaces and they take you out of that AirX pad shoe that you were wearing, and it kind of tells your body like, hey, this is how you're supposed to work. So with that, thank you for attending my TED Talk. Thank you for listening to my rant all the way to the end. And come try Rev sometime.